Hope you'll stay through the service today. Hope nothing makes you mad when you leave. The meetings are being recorded by Brother Johnson from Albuquerque. He brought his equipment here. Brother Bear that does our recording, he and his wife. His wife's been real sick very bad the last few days, and we asked Brother Johnson to come again, and he has offered his service. And the meeting will be recorded, and he's already got a tape album here to hold the tapes. It'll be $30, I think it is, for the whole meeting, and this is part of being in the body. If you don't have a tape recorder, you may not be in the body. Because we don't only listen. When I first came to this group of people, I worried. That was one of my big worries. I'd hear them teach all day on subjects and go into discussions, and I'd sit there and worry they'll never think of that again. And it just bothered me. It's so good. It's so deep. I just wondered how they ever thought of it. And then I thought, they'll never think of that again. I'd say that over and over in my mind. They'll never think of that again. And so we didn't have any recorders. And then one day, Brother Webster made a wire recorder, and we started recording. And I got me one. Brother Dixon, I think, had the first one, Clyde Dixon. And he set it up at the pulpit at the campground and scared Brother Souders. He didn't want to talk over that thing. He didn't like it. I don't think he ever did get used to it. But we got the recording on a little fine wire, just about the size of a hair. And then things would get mixed up. There's times that I had wire run all out through our house, out in the front yard, around the gate, up and down the fence, trying to save a good message that somebody preached. And then one day they came out with a tape recorder. Thank God for whoever did that. And it's been a great blessing to us. We do have a little bit of Brother Mears back on the phonograph recording. He recorded a little bit way back in his day, Brother Carnesius' father, Brother Rebbe Mears. So you can get this, and it'll be worth your money. Not only can you get it and just hear it, but you can see it now. Here's Brother Smith. He's videoing the meeting over here, and he'll fix your tape. I forget what he said now, the price, but you can talk to him. And then we've got this is a Houston video over here. Then I see another one back up here. So they're getting you all around. And you get everything you say. If you make a mistake, they'll get that. And if you preach a false doctrine, we'll get that. Then over here, Brother Watson has Bibles and books, a few books that he feels and others have felt is a blessing to us. And so you can see Brother Watson. I don't know what else they have over there in that room, but it's music. Yeah, that's right, tapes. They have tapes of our choirs and our bands in different churches, and then somehow personal tapes. Sister Sybil White, that's written so many beautiful songs through the years, and had a tape out last year. She's got a new one out. Just came in yesterday. Beautiful songs and music. So you can get that over here. Brother Johnson, where are you? Where's your business located? Where is Brother Johnson? I don't know where he is. He's down the hall. All right, down the hall in the left, where our school offices used to be. I guess that's where he is. So you can see him about the tapes, buying the tapes. Is there any other announcements you help me with here we need to mention? And get ready to, feels pretty solid here. Brother Brown's made a solid talk. And you that are here for your first time, maybe I ought to say a few things about what may happen. I have no idea, really, only I've just been in these meetings for nearly 40 years watching it, and as anything could happen. We don't know who may come in here that's not here yet. They're waiting down the road. They're just going to wait till this thing gets going. They're going to come in. We've had a fellow 2 different times come in and chain himself, lock himself to that post over there with a chain wrapped around him, and we couldn't find the key on him. And so we had to go out and get we happened to have a pair of big wire cutters, got handles that long. We can cut a pretty good sized chain. And we cut him loose. And we've had characters, you wouldn't hardly believe it. You think I'm making up a Texas story. But I've had Elijah sat here with me on the platform. And get up and prophesy that I'd be over there when he laid dead in the street for 3 days. He's on his way to Jerusalem, and I never did find out where Enoch was, but he is on his way. He said, you'll see it on television. You'll read it in the news where I'm going to be laying dead over there for 3.5 days in the street, and they won't bury me. And said, your pastor, Brother Patton, said he'll be there. Well, I don't know whatever happened to Elijah. We've had some very strange characters. That's to the extreme, really, but we have the extreme. We had one man here one time, long beard and long hair, and he's barefooted. And people made fun of me because I wouldn't buy him any shoes or get his hair cut. I tried to cut his hair. Offered to pay for it and shave too. And I tried to buy him some shoes, but he said, no, I want to stay close to Mother Earth. Said she's my mother, and I don't want to get far from her. So he just walked around on the earth barefooted. And that is in a general meeting. Of course, he was here other time, but the man that followed him got up, dressed well, and offered to loan $1 million to any preacher here that wanted to build a new church. And someone heard him down the barber shop after that talking, said, I was up there in that church up there on the corner. This one was downtown. And he said, you wouldn't believe it, but said there was a man there that needed shoes and needed a haircut and a shave. And the next fellow followed him, wanted to loan $1 million. He was a millionaire. And said they both followed, they was both on the platform preaching down there. Said it's a mess. Now you'd think most any Pentecostal meeting or any other religious meeting would have a brochure telling you who's going to speak in this meeting. But does anybody get one? You didn't get yours? Oh, you didn't. Well, the reason you didn't, we didn't have one because the Lord never did tell us who's going to be on this. And so you'd think it wouldn't work. You think turn a big crowd this loose like this? We've always had prophets among us who said, it'll never work. It'll never work. It won't work. But we just go ahead and it works anyway. So we don't know who's going to speak today. We don't know what subject. We just want to make it free for you, brethren, to speak on any subject. We don't want you to feel bound. If there's something you see going on here in this local church and you want to help us with it, get on it and talk about it. You don't have to call my name, but just talk on it. I'll catch on. And we all should be here watching for something to help our particular case. And all of us ministers feel that we're inadequate. We're not doing as much as it needs to be done. We've all believed that there's something more that we can add to our ministry. And it's pretty difficult to go right straight to a preacher and tell him what's wrong with him. But you can take advantage here in this pulpit and talk all around. And if he's wise, he'll finally say, I believe they're talking about me. And yet all brethren want to know why the church doesn't do better, why they have so many problems, or why it hasn't grown, or why it isn't more spiritual, or why don't God help them more? And they're here to try to find out answers. There's only one sad thing about that. It's usually what you don't want to hear is wrong with you and me. But maybe somebody will talk about it in this meeting and we'll get it, or get it on tape and go home and listen, and finally decided that's my problem. That's my problem. So we've all got blind spots in our life and in our ministry that it takes another brother. Brother Giffen used that last night, that the spirit of a man is the candle of the Lord, searching the innermost parts. And so other men will get up and search us out. Every one of those ministers are right. You couldn't get one of them to get up and say, folks, I'm wrong. They believe they're right. And Jeremiah said they'd be that way. He said every man's right in his own eyes. But he said his brother will come and check on him. And so we're here to check on each other. We kind of use this scripture in the 14th of 1 Corinthians, where it said, let them all speak, one by one, and let the others sit by and judge. If there be anything revealed to one that sitteth by, let the first preacher stop. Pretty hard to stop preachers sometimes, but the Bible uses that. Let him hold his peace. That means be quiet, shut up, and let your brother talk. You get up here and some preachers see a crowd like this, they get lost. They just preach themselves to death. They forget there's 200 or 300 other preachers that like to say something, and sometimes a preacher believes anointing is just as long as I can think of anything to say. Well, that's true. You can laugh about it, but I know they believe that. They believe that. As long as I can think of something else to say, even if I have to repeat. We took a speaking course one time, and it said when it gets down to where you said, as I was saying, said, shut up. You already said it. We heard you. And as I was saying a while ago, we heard it. Go on to something else. Move on. Make your talks more interesting. And when the congregation, this is our dashboard. Preacher don't know anything else, he can read the dashboard. Here's his dashboard. If half of the people gets up and walks out while you're preaching, you're out of oil. You're knocking. There's something wrong with your, either your gift, there's something wrong somewhere. You ought to recognize that. You ought to always be watching your congregation. And when you feel they lose interest, quit. We learned 3 things. Be instant. They said to stand up to speak, to be seen, speak out to be heard, sit down to be appreciated. All right? That'll help you. There's a lot of sayings they used back there when I came around. Don't hear much anymore. Said, if you get up and bore the people for 5 minutes and you don't strike oil, sit down. Then we used it in the Old Testament where everybody had to bring their sacrifice, bring him up to the temple, offer a sacrifice. Well, now, did anybody bring a goat today, or a sheep, or a turtle dove, or a pocket full of meal? We don't bring those kind of sacrifices. We bring ourselves.